Buckets.
I got
Hello
the
and okay.
hammer.
Welcome to episode 42. Uh Kevin Love, shout out Kevin Love, of Two Man Game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. It is June 19th, Juneteenth, as they call it. Happy Juneteenth. Those of you that don't know, I am part black, so this means a little bit more to me. And we're from Galveston. Galveston's big on
Yeah, I
on
know.
Juneteenth. The
I had,
Emancipation Proclamation was announced there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
a big deal.
told, yeah, I told my band members that. Well, it's fun. It's just funny because I think one of them actually looked it up and said, "Hey, your hometown's part of this." And it's like, yeah, I've known about this because a lot of them just found out about it like in the last year or two because
Yeah,
it was a holiday. I was like, I was raised on this,
yeah.
so
Big holiday where we're from, of course. So happy Juneteenth. It's also the end of the NBA season. We are done. The finals has wrapped. Um, which feels crazy now. 42 episodes into this, so it's our first season's in the books.
we did
Uh,
it, dude. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I'm so happy that we
yeah.
did this and like we made it through, man.
Yeah,
It's
first
cool.
season on, while potting about it. So we paid
Mhm.
extra attention. I imagine we will continue to do so in the future. Uh, so
Yeah.
I don't know when the episodes will come out. I don't know what the off season will look like. We have the draft, we have the Olympics, we have free agency. So it'll be a little more of an active off season with that stuff. But we won't feel. I think right now there's a little with the playoffs and stuff. There's a little like, oh, we need to pod like right now because like this really important thing just happened. Um,
Yeah.
Whereas those may be just kind of whenever we're free.
Yeah. I totally agree. And it's like the off season when we started this. I mean, we're a bit more regimented now at this. When we first started, we were very much like, I guess I could do it this day, and I guess we could do like
I feel like that's still exactly what
rankings.
happens.
No, it is, but it is a bit
So,
more like, oh, this just happened. Like during the season, especially like, oh, the finals are about to start. We should do a pod. Oh, they just ended. We should do a pod.
yeah,
Now it's going to be kind of back to like not as like you said, these events won't be happening
when we
that we
first
need
started, we tried to do every
once a week.
Saturday. That didn't work.
I don't think it
We
was
still,
Saturday. It was Thursday. I think we tried to do it
who
during the
knows?
week. Yeah, I don't
Go
know.
back and listen to the tapes. Um, Before we get into
Yeah,
it, though, before we talk about the finals, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you leave 5 stars, download on Spotify, and with either platform, please share it to everyone that you know. Yes, we're in the off season, but this is the best time I think to tune in if you're not super accustomed to basketball, because we're going to talk about different free agency destinations. Last off season we gave our power rankings, we gave our predictions, we talked about we tiered all the starting lineups for every team. We did a lot, so we're definitely going to have a lot of information about the upcoming season that coming your way. So, what better time to tune in? And we will still be here. Like you mentioned, we might not have any specific things. Maybe like, I think I'm going to summer league still. I know you're traveling to Lithuania, so I know you
yeah.
won't be able to go, but we'll probably have to have a pod about that. I'm sure we'll have a pod about, sometime after the draft happens. I'm sure we'll have a pod after the first day of free agency because like 80 things are going to happen, etc. So, we'll still have a couple days here and there that are like very regimented, as you said, but a lot of times we'll just kind of tune in and have different silly ideas. I thought of one earlier today. I was thinking that we should both make a starting five of like obscure role players from our childhood that we enjoyed watching,
Okay.
but
That
like people we
should be
haven't
really
really
fun.
talked about a lot on the pod.
Oh yeah, I mean I can already think of a few, so yeah, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
I
Um,
have two in mind, and then I'm lost. But
these I called games that we do are
Mhm.
such good reminders of like these players I totally like forgot about and stuff. Or yeah, players that I forgot about. But I love doing that. And that's a really good idea. I love that. I still want to do like a let's talk about our least favorite teams and our favorite
Mm,
teams. Although
yeah,
it's kind of obvious. You can kind of tell, you can kind of give it away
if you've been
sometimes.
tuning in,
Yeah. Then you know. But yeah, the finals ended. That's crazy. But before we get into like some new stuff, how are you? How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing all right. Yeah, I'm supposed to ask you how you are. I totally forgot, but that's because you threw me off right when the intro started. So. That's your fault.
I got the
Yeah, I
power.
wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either. I just was
I
like, just go
literally hit
for it.
record and you
It said
did.
episode. You're like, I thought episode 42. Now's the time to say that we got the power. Why not?
Sure. I see you got Panda there, your favorite place. I had 888 for dinner. You know,
That's
I
so good.
it's like literally zero point 0.3 miles from my new place. So
Wait, are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, I gotta try to not eat there all the time.
Dude, it's gonna be tough.
Tofu is not great there, but the fried rice itself is a delicacy enough. So
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, you don't eat. You still don't eat meat. That's good.
yeah, still
Happy for you.
staying strong. Um,
Nice, man.
Otherwise, I'm good though. It's summer. We're cruising. We're getting through this part of the year. It's hot as heck outside. I played
You played.
basketball
I
on
was just about to say
Sunday
you played
and on
basketball. Wow.
Friday. Played it twice this past weekend. I felt really good both games. Really, really good.
Nice.
I finally was putting some of the stuff I think I do a lot on my own when I'm shooting around into games. Um, I've probably done it playing with you before, but I was playing with this guy. His name's Cam. He'll never listen to this. I don't even have his phone number or anything, but he's at the rec often. So like
Yeah.
we play games together often, and he's about as big as me. He's stronger than me. He's a little more fit than me. And we play a lot. And like when I first started going there, I was telling him about how we were doing the student staff game and like trying to get into it, and then I just like kept going. Um, but it was me and my coworker Adam. Shout out Adam. He always plays with me. He's very loyal. Um, and we were going against him and another guy, and we won 2-on-2 with them. So that was nice. And I was hitting Cam with some mean post fades and driving on the basket, hitting some hook shots, some stuff I'd probably have done against you, but I really refined it over time. So my basketball
Wow,
game is
dude.
feeling very good right now.
Okay, all right. Can't wait to play, dude. When I'm there in July, we definitely will. I'm gonna pack my shoes and everything.
You better, Buster.
Oh yeah, I will. Don't worry. I really want to. What I noticed when I went and played like last week is that I need to like condition myself again. Like I was running out of breath.
Oh yeah,
So I just need to
my
like,
shirt ends up a different color every time.
oh yeah. I
It's
mean,
profusely sweating.
same. But I'm glad you want to play basketball, dude. That's good. And also I'm glad you live near AAA. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to go there when I visit. I hope you know that.
that's fair. I'm totally okay with that.
Okay. Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Never mind. I lose.
No, you
Oh, I
won.
was
You
gonna say
win.
I'm gonna try to continue to go Friday and Sunday every week. That's my new plan.
Nice. Nice, you should.
Really get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, I remember when I went last time, I went like right after work, and that was actually really nice. So I think I'm gonna try to do that. Like if I don't have anything in the evenings, because I usually have something. Like if like when I come home
So
from
popular.
work, like just change and go straight to the court. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got
I'm
there
good.
on
I'm
your
good. I'm good, by the way. Thank you.
you are good. I thought I asked that already. Did I not? Did I forget? Or
No,
did I just say
you
that I
didn't. You
forgot?
did. You said you forgot.
Oh. Um, well,
Dude,
tell me about you.
it is my fault. I should not have started this pod with I got the power. I apologize. That's on me.
Really
Hey, we
threw me
learn
off.
things. We learn things. This is why we do this. We learn. No, but I'm doing good. The only really like news thing that happened is that I got a second ear piercing.
Oh wow. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. This is the first
Uh,
time I'm learning of this.
yeah, I meant to send you a picture of it. I got it
Yeah, you didn't, but
Monday night. It
sure.
was 2 days ago. Well, I post. I know you're not on Instagram and stuff, so I get it. But yeah, I got it. Like always wanted a second one right next to the hoop I already have. So I got a little It's like basically like it was like a one time used gun that, and I did it in the parking lot, and my friend did it for me, and we just
Mm.
real quick. And it feels fine. The headphones aren't doing great on it, but you know what? It's fine. I'll survive. But besides that, I've been good. I'm just seeing friends a lot, and I went to the beach today, had band practice, so that was
You
fun.
sand.
I love the beach. I miss the beach so much. It was a very nice time. That's where I did the Purtle, and I lost signal, and I had to stop doing
Well, we had to
it.
look it up because
Dude, I
I know.
forgot that guy was on this. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Chimizade met too. I was not
Yeah.
not having him in the mind for the Pistons. I was like, who is number 5 on the Pistons? I have no clue.
No clue. Absolutely. But yeah, so you meant I'm wearing a Buzz City Alive shirt.
Mm.
I found for like $2. It's
I didn't
Charlotte
realize it said
Hornets.
alive on it. That makes it a lot worse, I think.
I know it does, and I don't care. I just think it was I like the color in it. Like I said, it was like $2. So I was like, why not? Plus, I was like, oh, for the pod, I gotta wear it on the pod. Plus,
How
it's like
often do you go to like Goodwill or something?
this is all from the same trip. The New Orleans Pelicans one,
Okay.
the Los Lakers, and this one. I
Like
just got
every day, you're like, here's my new shirt from Goodwill.
well, it's
This
just
guy
because
goes
I
to
get
Goodwill every day.
yeah, it's my stop on the way home from work. No, it's because I got it all at that one time. I a few weeks ago I found them, and I'm not gonna wear them all on the pod at once, So,
That makes
but
sense.
I think that's like the last. This was the only I got 3 shirts that day. I got Mason. I got Mason's birthday gift. Shout out Mason. Damn, good try. But yeah, what are you wearing? Which one are you? Rockets?
Today I'm rocking Filipino Heritage Rocket shirt. I don't remember. I gotta look back. I need to definitely make sure I wear my Pride shirt. I've worn it before, but
You
I need to make
have.
sure I wear it again while we're actually in Pride Month. Um,
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure we'll do one more pod in June.
and I also realized it's Juneteenth. I should have worn my Black History Month shirt, but
Hey, Filipino
here we are.
Heritage Month, shirt.
It was the
It
first
counts.
basketball related shirt in my drawer. I've worn all my shirts, my jerseys. I've given up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we think about it, we technically went through we did a whole season of
We
just
are through the
wearing
whole
our
season.
basketball stuff.
That's true.
So like that's not easy. Like we did it, dude. We
Yeah.
totally did it.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe I need to go to Goodwill or something and pick
I
some
well,
pick up some
I
good
just
good
like if
things.
you ever stop at one, like just see it
I
because like
never stop anywhere. That's the issue, I think.
yeah, yeah. I like to just kind of sometimes run errands on the weekend because I don't like being in the house all day. So I'll just like, oh, maybe I'll just pop over to Goodwill or
So I'm
something.
so I'm crushing basketball. You think I want to go to Goodwill after basketball? Absolutely not.
I would honestly.
Go in there
That's
like
why you and I.
profusely sweating.
Yeah, I need a new shirt. I need a new shirt. Just dying
I
sweat.
my shirt is so gross. I need to replace it with a different shirt.
Hello, do you have shirts? Because I'm soaked.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing good. I'm excited. I'll see you in like a month. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, sirree.
But yeah, you already dive in. Let's dive in some NBA news.
Let's do it. Tell
All
me
right.
about this first thing.
Yeah, so this is related to Lithuanian basketball and Domantas Sabonis. So like of course I wanted to talk about it. So the children of the Sacramento Kings legend and Hall of Famer Bob Davies, they gave their blessing for Domantas Sabonis to wear their father's retired number 11. It's the same number that Domantas's father wore, Arvydas Sabonis,
Right.
and he's wore number 11 his whole career
Yeah.
with the Pacers, with the Thunder, but he couldn't with the Kings. That's why he did 10. It was the next
Did he even
closest.
wear it on in college? You know what college Domantas Sabonis went to?
Gonzaga.
Correct.
Yeah, I
Surprised you
think
know
he
that.
wore it. I only know it because he is Lithuanian. I think they
Eh,
talked about it. I've definitely like it's not something I looked up. It's just something I have in the back of my head.
mm.
But thank you for keeping me on my toes. I don't know where Valanciunas went. I don't know if he went to
Yeah,
college here.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't think he did actually.
Probably not. Probably just transferred from like a professional league overseas or something.
Yeah, but anyways, it's just that's nice to hear. And also they announced this on Father's Day on Sunday.
Mm.
That
Does that mean he like begged to wear it? He like he asked them like, please let me wear my dad's number.
please, please, please. I don't know. Put a show, put a show, put a show. That's Lithuanian.
Yeah, I was like,
I
I
don't
don't know what
know.
you're saying.
I'm not sure. But also, you know what? I didn't even think about this, but I want to take this time because Father's Day did pass. I want to take this time to give a shout out to my dad. Because
He's my dad too. He doesn't know it, but
he doesn't know it. Because he got me in. He's a big reason why I love basketball.
mm.
So, just wanted to say thank you. And I'm sure he won't listen to this, but I just wanted to say thank you, Dad, for that.
I'll say the same thing about my mom's boyfriend Brian. He likes basketball. He took me to summer league last year. And
Yeah,
he
and
went there with us.
he let me sleep in the hotel room, which was very
Yeah,
nice.
so
So
he has only been a part of my life for like 4 years, but cool
he's
guy.
a cool guy, very cool guy. Absolutely. But yeah, so it's cool. So another jersey change. We know we jersey number change. We know how much we love
We do
those.
love the. It's our favorite thing in the NBA. I think
And
that's really
yeah,
why I
I
watch.
think it's top. It's S tier for
It's
me.
it's
We should rank
things to watch, like
things
things we like about the NBA.
things that we love about the NBA. The officiating S tier.
S
The
when
jersey
when
number
people
changes
flop,
S
S
tier.
tier.
S tier.
When people complain to the officials, that has to be S tier for sure.
Gotta be. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was a nice thing, and maybe I can find now. I'll be able to get a Sacramento Kings Sabonis jersey for a lot cheaper. I'll just get a number 10. Why
That's
not?
true. That's true. You can get the discounted jerseys are the way to go for sure.
Absolutely. So hopefully not everyone
So I'm a
already
proud
bought
owner
it
of
up.
so many Russell Westbrook jerseys.
I know. I mean, I own two, and I'm not even. I like him, but I'm not even that big of a fan. So
That's fair.
yeah, but okay, that's cool. And also, I mean, so he'll be wearing number 11 too in the Olympics. So
Mm.
that's cool.
For Lithuania,
Absolutely.
it's exciting. Uh, In other NBA news, the Pistons ownership group today actually decided to dismiss Monty Williams as their head coach. He's going to be still owed $65 million plus dollars over the next 5 years on his contract. Worth noting that originally he was going to sit out last season. He actually wasn't going to coach when he stepped away from the Suns because his wife was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer. But then the Pistons were like, no, please, like, help us rebuild, and gave him that huge contract because I know, 65 million in NBA terms doesn't sound like a ton because we're going to talk about a player contract here that's way more than that. But for coaches, that's a lot. And of
Hmm.
course, for the average Joe like me and you, $65 million. Yeah, sure, I'll do whatever you want. Um, so
I would do many things for that much.
Yeah, so he was going to step away, and then they kind of lured him in, and now the ownership group, after just one season, is like, actually, never mind. And I think a couple episodes ago we mentioned, Shrajan Langdon was like their new president of basketball operations. Maybe he had a partner too. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a lot of money to pay a guy that's not going to be there. So we'll see what
Yeah,
direction they go.
I don't really understand it because especially like why not give him at least another year? Like you already locked him into this deal. It's like you got to pay him anyway. So now you're going to find another coach and then pay him
Oh
millions on
yeah,
top of that too. I don't understand it. In all honesty, like the money, it doesn't make sense. You're losing money. Monty Williams is a good coach. It makes even more sense now that maybe his coaching wasn't as good because of, because of his wife's cancer diagnosis. Obviously,
yeah.
not things are on your mind, but maybe now, I don't know the status of that, but if she's better, then he can focus
Oh,
on
well, I
this,
can tell you he's seen me cruising at home with $65 million, just his feet up on the couch, hanging out with his wife. He's a happy man.
No, I know, but I mean, I know he's fine, I'm sure. But I just don't understand it from the Pistons ownership stance.
Yeah,
Like, this is totally different scenario than like Frank Vogel and like Phoenix, like
yeah.
totally different.
I
Anyways,
also, the timing of it is a little weird, doing it at the end of the finals rather than the end of the regular season once the Pistons were going into their off season. Why wait all the way to the playoffs? I don't really know.
they put bets down. If the Mavericks win, then they won't dismiss him, and if the
Oh,
Celtics
okay.
win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be like they were seeing, what coaches were gonna get let go from their teams maybe throughout the duration of the playoffs, and they could try to snag one of them. I'm
Mm.
not sure. So far nothing has popped up, but maybe this, for me, this would be a better JJ Redick spot. Someone that
Oh, for sure. I
a
totally agree.
rebuilding team, first year head coach makes a lot of sense. But well, he's kind of the front runner for the Lakers job with James Borrego. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what direction the Pistons are going to go. I don't really know a lot of coaches that are out on the market. I would say, Kenny Atkinson. That's a great place for him. He's great at player development, so
Yeah, he made the Nets fun. So yeah.
maybe they give him a shot. We'll see.
So pivoting from coaches to players. So we're gonna Gary Payton II, who's on the Warriors
Yeah.
again, actually. He's going to opt into his $9.1 million player option for next season in hopes to sign a long-term extension. Uh,
Woo!
do you think he has a good chance?
I mean, they like him over there. He just gets injured a lot. which
Yeah.
is the issue. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. 9 million is a lot for him
Yeah.
based on what he does. The Warriors are a pretty expensive team. They've paid the tax time and time again. I'm not sure if they ink him to a longer term deal. I feel like it won't be for this much. I feel like it'll be for less than this. But
Yeah.
um, I definitely think like they like having him, and they brought him back a whole nother time. So
Yeah.
like they clearly like having him there. I don't see why they would.
Yeah. No, I
Also,
agree.
in other relevant news to this, I didn't put it on the doc, but I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen the Klay Thompson stuff lately.
No.
Um, I don't know what's going on with Klay Thompson and the Warriors, but apparently on Instagram he archived a bunch of like Warriors photos and took like unfollowed the Warriors, Instagram and stuff like that. So
Oh
apparently
my
Rocky
God.
Shores over there, and I don't know if Klay Thompson will be a Warrior after this free agency period.
Interesting. Well, that's something to keep an eye on. I haven't thought about that in quite a while. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. Didn't even make the playoffs this year. So, um, buy into the younger timeline or try to run it back
You
with the
gotta buy
older.
in this. You gotta buy in the step if step is there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. But like, I don't know. Who else wants to be there for that? We'll see. We will keep up with that. And also Pascal Siakam. He
Hmm.
plans to sign a 4-year, $190 million max contract to return to the Pacers, which we kind of thought, because you usually, if you're in the last part of your deal and you go to a team, you usually kind of have talks with them beforehand that you'll stay with there or
Yeah.
stay with them for that. So that makes sense. I liked him a lot on the Pacers, and they had a really good run all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to
for
see.
sure. Yeah, why not? Why would you trade from him and not sign him? Definitely
Yeah, yeah, I
makes
think he's
sense.
worth it too. Absolutely,
Uh,
championship player.
he was good for them in their playoff runs. So I hope
Yeah,
he does sign because if they trade and he walks in free agency, that would suck.
that would totally suck. You'd feel terrible.
And then I don't know if you saw this, but Paul George joined the ESPN broadcast. ESPN, we've talked about their broadcast thing is terrible. It's just awful. We're not talking about commentary like Mike Breen, JJ Redick, Doris Burke. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Lisa Salters I actually like a lot, the sideline reporter.
Oh yeah, she's good too. Yeah.
But their booth right now is like Stephen A, Malika Andrews, Kendrick Perkins, Michael Wilbon, who used to do Pardon the Interruption with another guy when I was a
Is
kid.
he the
I don't
is
know
he
if
the
you,
older guy?
he's the older bald man.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if
And
you
then
remember the show when we were kids where like basically there'd be like a screen of items they're gonna talk on the right, and it was him
yes,
and
yes,
this
yes,
old
yes.
white guy, and like it would be like a minute and they would fly through these topics.
I
Uh,
remember that. I remember the
yeah,
look. Like I watched every now and then. Because I like that. I was like gonna know what they're gonna talk about. Like it
yeah,
would just say like a player's name or a team or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
PTI, Pardon the Interruption, a classic show.
Wow, I never even knew the name of that. That's cool. Good to
Yeah,
know.
so he's
But
a
yeah,
part of the broadcast booth randomly, and then Stephen A. is a character. Kendrick Perkins says things that don't make a lot of sense. Malika
yeah.
mentions as the host, and then they've been bringing on guests throughout the playoffs, and
Mhm.
TNT did too. Like we mentioned, Draymond,
Vince
the
Carter.
Wolves Nuggets series. Vince Carter is like, yeah, he's part of like their alternate booth with the Adam something. I don't remember that guy's name. I know Dwayne Wade used to be a part of it. Candace Parker.
Hmm.
Those people I was okay with, but man, ESPN is like, I think Julius Randle was there for one. That was fine. They had Josh Hart there. That was whatever. But this one, like, it was those four people, and then it was also Paul George. And then also out of nowhere, Joel Embiid shows up, and then there's like seven people crowding around this little table, and it was just a lot. But during that, I think this was pre-game, game four. Um, they were asking Joel Embiid, like, how do you think we're going to go in next season? And Joel Embiid is sitting there. And by the way, if you haven't seen this, Paul George looked so uncomfortable the whole time because he had no idea this was going to happen. Like, he just thought he was going to give his thoughts and stuff. And then Embiid just kind of like showed up. Um, and he's like, well, I hope we get better in the off season. And then he just like side eyes Paul George and like looks over at him. Um, and
I
Paul
haven't
George looked,
seen it. I need
looked,
to look.
he
Yeah.
looked uncomfortable. He was not ready for this. So I just
I
thought that was, worth mentioning.
yeah, I read about that. I haven't watched that, interaction take place. all these people are reading into it. Like they're like, oh, this is proof that he's the 76ers want to sign him. And there's been rumors about that for forever.
Yeah.
They'll have some money to offer. Um, I mean, back talking about the ESPN thing, man. Like I remember during the game 4 halftime, we were
Oh, Bob
texting.
Myers. That's another
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's and
yeah, yeah.
the guy literally. What did he say? He just said like the Celtics this year are playing like they want it more. I was like,
Yeah,
what
he
kind of
said that
analysis
he
is
said,
that?
yeah, man, I'm so glad you brought that up because I totally
Yeah,
forgot Bob Myers a part of it too. Former GM of the Warriors. He's just sitting there in halftime. He's like, the Celtics are playing like a team not afraid to win the championship.
yeah, that's what it was. I was like,
What
what
does that
are you
even mean?
talking?
Their coverage of the pregame, the postgame, the halftime show is just terrible. It's like not even like I normally don't watch halftime shows because I'm watching the game, so I don't need to
Yeah.
watch halftime show. But like
Mhm.
there's like I literally mute it. I'm like I can't listen to you. Actually,
It's not even
you're gonna
it's not
infuriate me.
it's not even entertaining. And if I'm being honest, like so the TNT crew, like I honestly don't like it's fun. That's what I
Yeah,
like about it. Like I don't think they take it way too seriously and I don't think they say like the most in-depth things, but they have fun and you can tell they just kind of have fun up there like
yeah.
and sometimes they don't even talk about the game. Sometimes they go on a tangent. It's just kind of fun like
I like the Kinney running to the little screen and
that
highlighting
they have little things,
plays, and
yeah. And then Chuck's
they all
guarantees. I
they always make fun of
guarantee.
Charles Barkley for being wrong about everything.
Yeah, which is really fun. And then I when they like sometimes like kind of get like mad at each other, I'm like, I think this just for like they're just kind of like Shaq and Chuck will sometimes not get along, but it seems like
It's like part of the bit.
it's part of the bit,
Yeah.
exactly. Anyways, yeah, so I wouldn't read into the Embiid, Paul George stuff, but we'll see. I mean, it's exciting. This is going to be an interesting offseason for sure.
This
Um,
is.
Yeah, so shall we dive into the finals? As most people know, I'm sure that are watching this or listening that you know that the Boston Celtics have won the 2024 NBA championship. They got their 18th championship. Now they have the most in the NBA, no longer tied with the Lakers. And I cried. I'm kidding, I didn't cry. I don't really care that much. But it's been an interesting few days, at least from before we dive into the game. I don't think I've seen like since I've been watching the NBA again these last 5 years. I don't think I've seen less about a championship since. Like I remember when the Nuggets won, I saw it for days,
Mm,
days,
mm.
Lakers days, Warriors days and days, and Bucks. Like now I don't see anything about the Celtics anymore. And this happened like Monday, you know? I don't
Mhm.
know. I just feel like people don't really care that they won. But we could talk about that later a bit more. But
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like I have like as soon as it was over, I feel like I didn't see even a ton of like, oh my God, yay, and then like yeah, like after that night, it was like, okay, we're done talking about it. Like
yeah, literally.
it doesn't matter anymore.
No, and yeah, but I think we can dive into that a bit later. I know I want to. But
Yeah,
yeah, let's talk about these games. So game 4, Maverick Celtics was the fourth. I was going to say the fourth game of the finals.
game four was the fourth game.
That's crazy.
Are you
I was gonna
sure?
say it was the second. It was the second game in Dallas, is what I was trying to get to, and it was a blowout. The Mavericks blew out the Celtics
Yeah.
122-84, and turned out it would be their only win in this final series. So Dallas came out swinging in this game, taking a big lead early. They never let up. Joe Mazzulla pulled Boston's rotational players with 4 minutes left in the third. So if you're pulling out like your stars that early, you're conceding this one. You're going back to Boston, hoping you win that game, and I mean, it turned out that they did. Yeah, Mavs ended up winning by 38, and it's the third largest margin of victory in NBA Finals history.
Yeah. Do you know who the top two are?
I don't. You want to give me like at least a year, or
Man,
way to give
I
it
don't even know if
away?
I could give you a year. Well, I don't
I
know. I don't know the year off the
I'll
top of my head.
I'll randomly say like was one of them the Spurs?
No, one of them was not the Spurs. I actually let me look it
Okay.
up because I wanna make sure I give you the most accurate information. While I'm doing that, one of them is from, arguably the GOAT.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say Miami Heat probably. Um, blew out somebody. Maybe the oh no, I know. Okay, so I know for sure the Celtics blew out the Lakers game 6 in 2008. I think they
That
won by like
that's
38.
one of them. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. That's a great job.
I just remembered that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Boston Celtics won 31 to 92 in the 2008 finals against the Lakers to win, to clinch the
Yeah,
series,
it was
by the
game
way.
6. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great pull from you.
Yeah,
That
you know why I remember that? Because they talked about it on the broadcast for
oh,
game 5. Yeah, that's
I
why
thought like you remember from watching as a child crying while you're watching Kobe get blown out.
no, that I forgot. But they brought the painful memories back. No, I'm kidding. No, I know that. So what was
Let
that
me
30?
let me give you the final score of this game.
Okay.
Okay, and it's the number one. So the 39, that was number two for the Celtics
Okay.
Lakers. The number one is 96 to 54.
Oh, was it Bulls Cavaliers?
Nope. One of the that's those teams are both in the East, so that can't be the finals, by the way.
Right. Oh, sorry. Bulls won.
Bulls, yeah.
Okay,
Bulls.
Bulls and
A team they famously had beaten the finals multiple times.
Jazz.
Jazz, 98. Yeah, 96, 54 Bulls, Jazz, and 98 finals.
Crazy.
That's wild. That's what you like.
Yeah,
I think that was like game one too. So it's like, okay, I guess the series is over, huh? I guess we lost already.
I was trying to remember. There was a I called game where it was like the Bulls lost like 100 to 50, but that was not. I think
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
it was like
but that
Bulls
wasn't.
Heat. I
It
remember
was
that.
like right. Yeah, it was right after Michael Jordan
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
retired the second
Yeah,
time.
I remember because I got no
Yeah,
one
on
on
that.
that team when I did it.
Yeah, I got Kukoc and that was it. Okay, but yeah. Well, thank you for that. I like learning new things.
You like when I throw a
Um,
little trivia in there?
I do enjoy it. I do quite a bit, and the listener does too because they have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so Porzingis was available for special circumstances, but he never checked into the game in Game 4. Obviously, why risk it?
Yeah.
Without Porzingis, the Mavericks were able to play straight up defense, putting their centers on Horford and Tillman, trusting that they wouldn't make perimeter shots, and this allowed them to prevent the Celtics from getting into the paint easily as well. Luka had 25 points in the first half. Crazy. He didn't
Yeah.
complain at
Finished
all
the
and
game
play.
with 27, by the way.
Yeah, I did see that. He did. I mean, he didn't need to do any more. He did his job. He also didn't complain at all, and he played solid defense for the duration of the game. Game 3, if you remember, he complained all the time and it allowed the Celtics to get some easy points on like five on four transitions.
Yeah, I remember a
And
couple Sam Hauser threes in game three because Luca like would just complain on the ref and then Sam Hauser ends up open at the other end.
yeah, and you also put a note here that Brian Windhorst ripped into him post game for this, and he responded in kind,
Yeah, did you
as you
see that?
say.
We didn't talk about that last time because we basically potted right after the game. So I wanted to make sure we at least touched on it a little bit.
I remember my voice broke just then. I remember that during the broadcast they were talking about it. I don't remember what post game. So was he was just saying like with
Brian,
everyone.
Brian Windors, he's like a ESPN
Yeah.
reporter.
Hmm.
But he was just like, I mean, he was just going into Luca. He was like, "This is a pathetic display of blah 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 blah." Yeah, worth looking up. And then Luca played like this in game four, and people are like, uh oh, here they come." Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's that's this is one thing I will say about I don't want to say NBA culture because it's not NBA culture, but like all these narratives that are happen. I hate when there's a series that's like 3-0 or 3-1 or no 3-0 specifically, and then the other team wins one. Like remember when the Lakers were down 3-0, they won one.
In the first round.
Even
Yeah.
this, the Mavericks down 3-0, they win one. Everyone's like, it'll be the first
It's gonna
time
happen.
that's gonna
Yeah,
happen. I'm
yeah.
like, and every time I'm like, stop. No, it's not gonna happen. It's just not. Like as much as I want to believe it, and all those circumstances, you
Yeah,
know me.
we could have came here and potted after game four and been like, "Look out, world!"
Yeah, like, oh, what?
Uh,
Yo, he's gonna Luka Magic. He's back. He's back.
then we would have looked
Uh,
silly.
yeah. Back to game 4, just to kind of finish it up. So Tim Hardaway Jr. Joined Steph Curry and Ray Allen as the only 3 players to hit 5 threes in a quarter in NBA history. He did it in garbage time, but he's still up there with the
An
greats.
elite list for Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah,
I thought you'd like that little nugget.
I love that nugget. I love that nugget. Derek Lively hit his first career NBA three-pointer and had his best game of the series all around. I don't know if you saw in the post-game interview as well. He was asked about his first career three-pointer, and he thanked his mom. He said his mom
Naturally.
was looking after him, so thanked her for helping him make that three. So that's nice.
I want to touch on something real quick before I forget.
Yeah, please.
I saw in when I was doing research on the finals and stuff, Xavier Tillman's mother or fa no father, his father passed away like 3 weeks ago.
Are you
And
serious?
I've heard there's been absolutely no coverage of it. People love talking about the Derek Lively. His mom passed away from cancer. She was a WNBA player. Obviously, it's tragic and it's important, and we should talk about it. So I just think it's weird that like I hadn't even heard that Xavier Tillman he died of like mysterious circumstances, like out of nowhere during the playoffs, and I feel like I have not heard about it at all.
That's
So
super weird. And I hate to, I was gonna say, I mean, none of these are excuses. Like, obviously, this is tragic, and I feel, for both of them. But is it because he's like a role player? He's not like a bona fide starter or right off the bench. But then he did play like pretty important minutes when Porzingis was out. So it's not like I'm just pulling it like Jordan Walsh on the Celtics, like where they didn't even mention him on the broadcast at all, It's like he played minutes. So that is weird. That's super weird that they even bring that up. Um, are you looking up something right now?
yeah, I was just looking up that, but yeah, it was about a month ago that he died unexpectedly May 19th.
Oh,
So.
exactly a month ago.
Yeah,
Crazy.
literally during the playoffs, this happened. I feel like I heard nothing about it.
Well,
But congrats to him because now he's NBA champion.
yeah, condolences to his family though.
I think
That's
maybe I
very,
heard about it on Father's Day when I
yeah,
was looking into it. And yeah, he
weird.
passed away, and I think Tillman mentioned, uh, he was sad his dad couldn't see him win the championship, but knows he's watching from above, et cetera,
Sure. Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. Uh,
To
but yeah,
round out game four, yeah, just real quick. So team stats that to note in game four, the Mavs shot 50% from the field on 91 attempts, while the Celtics shot 36% from the field on 80 attempts. So, not a good shooting game from the Celtics. Mavs shot 41% from three on 37 attempts, while the Celtics shot 34% on 41 attempts. And the Mavs had 52 rebounds to the Celtics 31. And the Mavericks had 60 points in the paint compared to the Celtics 26.
mm,
So, I mean, obviously the better that this team, sorry, this game, the better team won. But the Celtics aren't always going to shoot 34% from three,
mhm.
and the Mavericks aren't always going to get 60 points in the paint. Definitely an outlier, and we found out in game five just how much of an outlier it was.
Yeah, game five was a blowout in the other way, unfortunately. The first quarter seemed pretty close. There was kind of a lack of defense on both ends. I mean, sorry, lack of shot making because of good defense on both ends, rather. I just feel like I was watching them brick shots over and over again. Not great shots because the defense was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then with a couple minutes left in the quarter, the Celtics went on a 9-0 run to close it out, 26-18 or 28-18. So they were just up by one, but then they went on a big spurt at the end of the quarter. Jason Kidd didn't call a timeout during that at all. And a lot of it I thought was definitely timeout worthy. There were a couple possessions in a row where whoever was bringing the ball up the court would get pickpocketed or they would make a pass and the Celtics would score easily in transition. They had 8 points in transition just after the first quarter alone. And Jason Kidd never bothered to call a timeout, but it felt like they were very razzled. So I just thought, those are moments where you should call a timeout to prevent that kind of momentum. What's that? What's that?
Absolutely. I was gonna say that the reason why I think he didn't call timeouts is because he called some early timeouts or something. Like I don't think they had as many for whatever reason. He just didn't have as much. I agree though that they should have called timeout regardless. Like the thing is, the Celtics will call timeouts too. I believe there was a challenge that they lost. I think they lost the timeout.
Mm,
Um, but that's not excusing it. But I did notice that as well. I think it happened also going into the second half.
yeah.
Similar thing, like the Celtics went on a run and they just didn't use a timeout. And I think it's because they were down, down a few. But
Yeah,
regardless.
and Drew Holiday was doing a lot for them in the first, but then it became kind of the Tatum show in the second quarter. Again, like he has often in the series, he attacked the paint, getting easy layups to the basket, and then also made plays when necessary. A lot of good playmaking from Jason Tatum in the series. I think kind of initiating the offense really helped him out. And then when they were, sorry,
I just wanted to say I'm pretty sure at the end of the first half he had 9 assists.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a lot.
Already 9 assists. Yeah. Um.
Um,
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, when they're up 15 in the second corner, I thought this was an interesting observation. Boston went with the no big lineup. So Al Horford checked out, and I think it was something like Pritchard, Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, something like that. Um, and the Mavs scored 8 straight points, all at the basket with lobs. And then Missoula called the timeout and was like, "Okay, Al, you got to get back in there. Sorry." Worth noting, Porzingis actually played in the first, but from what I noticed, he clearly looked like he wasn't moving correctly. And he ended up not playing the rest of the game. And then after the finals was over, it was revealed that he is going to have surgery and can't play for a couple months. So RIP to Latvia's chance in the Olympic qualifiers because they're not going to have him.
Yeah. Well, they already made it to the Olympics, so not to qualify. But
Oh,
now,
well, now they're
now their
done.
Olympic chances. Yeah, they're done. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, going into the rest of the first half, the Celtics defense kind of put the clamps on the Mavs again. They hit a lot of threes. You know, that's been their formula all playoffs. They started hitting them here at the end of the first half. And then naturally, for the second time this finals, Peyton Pritchard hits a half-court buzzer beater going into halftime, up 21, 67 to 46. And that arena was absolutely electric after that shot.
Dude, well, that was crazy because I remember. So they passed him the ball. Mike Breen
He
is
checked
literally,
in for this.
yeah, he literally was talking about like Peyton Pritchard hit a long three also in game one, or was it game two? He's just talking about like,
Yeah.
oh, he makes shots like this, and then while he's describing him making the shot earlier, he shoots it, makes it, and then you hear the bang, and I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy,
Yeah, he was like
crazy.
Peyton Pritchard. He's pretty good at these.
And yeah, he's pretty good. He made one in game one, bang, and
Uh,
he made. I was like, oh my god,
Mike
like
Breen, you bastard.
you just spoke into
You
existence.
jinxed us.
You jinxed
Not quite
us.
as good as the Kevin Harlan getting up in Jamal Murray's face.
Dude, that was probably the best. Has to be one of the best moments of this
Oh, we
playoffs.
should have totally done
Let's
top 10 moments of the playoffs. That would have
we'll
been
do it
fun.
next. We'll do it next.
Yeah,
That's a really good topic. That would
that's
be
a
really
reflection.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sneak peek on episode 43.
that's
But
fun.
yeah. All right, into the second half, it's not really worth talking about, honestly. After Boston being up 21 at the end of the first, it really never got close. Like you mentioned earlier, Boston ended up getting their 18th championship, having the most in NBA history. I bet the NBA really would have loved a Boston Celtics Lakers battle for the 18th banner matchup. Um, I just thought about that when you were talking about it earlier, but that would have
Yeah,
been interesting. Um,
it's
Worth
okay.
noting, Kyrie had a very bad series, especially in Boston. He has not played well in Boston since, kind of controversially leaving several years ago, going to the Nets. Now he's on the Mavericks. A lot of Kyrie sucks chance throughout the series. When he was at the free throw line, even just during dead balls, timeouts, even when Celtics were taking free throws, you would hear some Kyrie sucks chance, like if he were the person that fouled whoever that was. And I just thought, obviously he didn't leave with the greatest taste. I know he stomped on Lucky or whatever, like the logo in the midcourt, which I know is like a big deal for Celtics fans. So obviously he didn't leave in the greatest terms, but I just kind of wish, watching as a neutral viewer, that the Celtics fans showed their team like more love and appreciation, and they did for a lot of it. But I feel like it was 4 or 5 times every game Kyrie sucks chance broke out, and I was just like, okay, like, and he got booed every time he had the ball. It was just kind of like, like I didn't like it. I don't know. It just made like I'm a Rockets fan. Obviously, the way James Harden left the Rockets is distasteful. And when he first came
Yeah,
back with the Nets, like people booed him. But I feel like during the playoffs, like you just want to be happy for your team rather than like focus so much negative energy towards another person. I don't know.
absolutely. I totally agree with you. I noticed that a lot in the series, and it made me sad because, um, it should be about the game. Like the players are extensions of the team, and you love this team, right? So like even like I was thinking earlier about how I remember in game 5 when Porzingis came onto the court, like the Celtics fans like got up and like were like clapping for him, and I was like, that's good. Like he's a player that was only there, he's only been there a year, but like obviously like they mean something to him and he's helped them get to this point. And then like can't you just let that Kyrie stuff go? Like does it really matter? Like the booing sure, but chanting Kyrie sucks is so childish. It's
Yeah.
just so childish. Also, I don't know if you saw this in the game. I don't know if you stopped watching, but Kyrie went for he dived for a ball to save it, and he
Mhm.
actually
Oh,
dived into like
into the
into the
fans. Yeah, I did see
yeah,
that.
and he dived. He ran into right next to Mike Breen was a sports
Yeah.
analyst,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ran and he like fell in the crowd,
Yeah.
and then like it took a while for him to get up, just make sure everyone was okay. He got back on the court, and then Mike Breen said like, thankfully everyone's okay, but these some Celtics fans here said some really disgraceful things to him when
Oh,
he
I didn't
fell,
hear
and
that.
they should be ashamed. And I was like, that's insane. Like, so a guy goes crashing into you, and the first thing you think of is like just saying negative things to him. Is like,
Right.
come on, seriously, just grow up.
Yeah, and he was, to his credit, he was very sure. I feel like in the series, I know
Absolutely, yeah.
after game one, and they talked to him, he was, or maybe it was during one of those mid-quarter interviews when they were talking about the fans and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's a arena. That's what they're gonna do here. That's how it goes."
They're passionate
Um,
fans, is what it
yeah,
is.
and he's all after the series was over, he was shaking hands with the Celtic players and
Of
stuff like that.
course,
Like
yeah.
he handled it like a total professional, but
Yeah.
just a it takes, like you said, it takes away from the game, takes away from the good
Yeah.
that's happening, which is kind of
It's not
less.
at the end of at the end of the day, it's not about the players. It's about the fans and the game and the team as a whole getting to that point. It's not about individuals and
Yeah,
doesn't matter. This is years. This is not last year this happened. This is years ago.
yeah,
Let bygones be bygones. Be happy for your team.
yeah. Ugh. Yeah, so Boston ended up winning, of course. I wrote a couple shout outs here just to my specific players that I really liked on their team. In order, I wrote Drew Holiday, of course, great series for him. I was very happy when he won on the Bucks in 2021. Happy for him now. Very like humble guy, nice guy, a great player, good leader. Al Horford, second most playoff games without a championship, no longer because he has one. So that's nice. Sam Hauser, I really like the way he played the series. I believe he's the only rotational player for Boston that's a free agent. So, that says something for them next year. But I feel like he'll get paid. I feel like he's kind of like almost like a better version of like a Duncan Robinson in like very limited minutes. Like he's shooting threes.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty, solid defense. So that was nice to see. And then I also said Jaylen Brown and Derek White too, I guess. Derek White and all the dental work he's going to need after his face was slammed into the
Dude, that
court.
moment was also, you know what I
In
realized is
slow
that
motion, it was hilarious.
it was
His whole
just like
face just going
literally
into the
and like
floor.
it's funny and it sucks because he literally could do nothing. Like he was there and then Lively comes and unintentionally obviously,
Unintentionally,
and
yeah.
it's just like his head has nowhere else to go except straight down. What I realized is that him and I both have the same chip tooth now. We both have the same one. Mine's in half too. Mine looked like
His
that.
looked rough. His
Yeah.
looked not
Yeah.
great. He was bleeding from his mouth. He had to go on the sideline for a bit. But yeah, great player. They really shout out Brad Stevens after he became an executive,
Yeah.
making lots of good trades like Derek White from the Spurs, who wasn't like a great player on the Spurs. He was just kind of whatever, and turned him into a great player for them. Of course, trading for Drew Holiday after the Bucks got rid of him for Damian Lillard.
Getting
Um,
Porzingis. I
getting
mean,
Porzingis, yeah, making a lot of good moves.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP, averaging only 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He ended up getting 7 of the 11 votes. Tatum got the other 4. And I saw a lot of discourse about this because Tatum ended up leading the sixth player in history to lead his team in points per game, assists per game, and rebounds per game, and not win Finals MVP when winning the finals.
Does this did you when you say he was led his team in the finals, he
In
led
the
them in
finals.
points?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
gotcha. I mean, I saw this and I didn't like bat an eye. I was like, okay, Jaylen Brown seemed like the more like he really got them going
Hmm.
kind of player. Like Jason Tatum did the less flashy kind of stuff, like the assisting and the rebounding. But um, I mean, I don't really mind either way. I think it's kind of a toss up, but I mean, I'm happy for Jaylen Brown. And in all, well, I guess we'll get to it next. But do you think it should have been Jason Tatum, or are you fine with Jaylen Brown?
Well, this is, I think, a case of people looking at stats compared to really watching.
Yeah.
And watching the game, it just felt like Jaylen Brown was their most impactful player throughout the
Hmm.
series. So
Hmm.
I had no problem with him winning Finals MVP. Sure, Tatum's box score numbers may have been a little bit better. His efficiency, I know, was great. He was shooting
Yeah.
terribly for a lot of the series. I know, and specifically in this game, Game 5, he had like his best game of the series.
Yeah.
But the rest of the series, I thought Jaylen Brown was consistent for them, and I also think he had pretty much the Luka matchup for most of the series.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. So, I was totally fine with him winning Finals MVP. I don't think it's going to be like a 2015 Andre Iguodala winning it over Steph Curry
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that. So,
I
um,
yeah, I agree.
yeah. So I saw a lot of discourse and I was like, I think, I mean, he played fine. So they're consistent through the whole series.
Yeah. I agree with you there. And also like if you're also looking, I know finals MVP should be just about the finals, but I sometimes look at it as a whole as like the whole playoffs. And it seemed like Jaylen Brown was just the more poised and kind of,
Mm.
he won Eastern Conference Finals, MVP too. So yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. It made sense to me. I didn't think I didn't read too much into that. Should have been Drew Holiday.
Drew
But it's fine.
Holiday. Yeah. Drew Holiday is,
He is our finals MVP
in our hearts.
in our hearts.
Uh,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I thought, something I thought we should do, now that we're here, we kind of already did what's next for the Mavs last time because we knew, no one's ever come back
Yeah.
3-0. I think we haven't talked a lot about the Celtics. I feel like every series we're just kind of like except the finals, we predicted the Mavs were going to win, and that was probably favoritism on our part.
Yeah, for sure.
But
And
the rest of
I
the
don't
playoffs,
regret
we were
it.
like
Yeah.
Celtics in five, Celtics in five. Hey, look, the Celtics won. The Celtics won. And we haven't really talked about them. So I feel like we should,
Yeah.
maybe celebrate their season, the path they had to get here, some of their players. Give them,
Yeah,
their credit because they
for
kind of
sure.
just walked through the playoffs and into a finals trophy. Um,
Yeah. And I'll put aside a lot of biases I have for this. I mean, in all honesty, I'm happy for them. They earned it. There's not a player on their team I don't like. You know what I mean? Like I'm fine. I'm not a big Al Horford guy because I just knew he existed like 4 years ago. I didn't really but happy for him. Obviously happy for Drew Holiday, even like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I like all the players. It's just my inherent bias because I'm a Lakers fan. That's really the only thing. And I've never really been a big fan of like Boston fans.
oh
I
yeah,
think
I mean,
they're
the
like
city of
some at
Boston
least
is, yeah,
yeah, like
too
I mean,
long.
they're like the Patriots when that was going on, and now like the Celtics, and so but I'm very happy for the team. I'm happy for the players who won, um, and I think the season was incredible for them, obviously. And I want to go back to my point I was saying about like them, um, like why no one's talking about it anymore, and I think it's because they were literally the favorite from the get-go, and they were the first seed for so long, and they had the best record, so it's like it wasn't surprising,
Yeah,
that they won. So I think that's why everyone's just kind of over it already.
yeah,
And it's not a knock on them by any means. I mean, honestly, it's good if you're the team that wins the championship and it's a boring championship. That's good.
yeah.
That means it was just easy enough, and your team was that good that you got the job done. There were no times when people doubted it, really. People wanted to, but this is never really in doubt, you know?
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, shout out Brad Stevens for sure for putting together a team like this. Next year, it's the hardest thing to do is to win two in a row.
Hmm.
I don't think with the level of talent in this NBA, I don't think it's possible. But that's this they won 2 days ago. So I'm not gonna dive into next season, but very it was a not surprising end to the season
Yeah.
this season. And that's okay. It doesn't always have to be the Denver Nuggets the first time a team is winning, or Giannis is finally gets his, championship. Because they've been talking about it for forever. I mean, it's just it was a boring end, and that's okay. Like I said, it's good. They should be happy with that.
So in
So,
that boringness, you mentioned this being the favorite all year, 80 and 21 overall record for the season. Playoffs, 5 game first series, 5 game second series, 4 game conference finals, 5 game finals. That's a really good playoff run. Where does this, 16-3, where does this the Celtic team you think back to past champions? How high are they in the list? Is it like one of the more dominant teams in your NBA kind of viewership experience?
um, I would say no.
Okay.
And then the reason why it's not a knock on them, it's just the way they play basketball.
Mm,
I'm not a really big fan of live or die by the three.
yeah,
I just think that the past championships have had like better playmakers, better defenders at some point. Like if I'm comparing, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Again, like we said when we before we did the series, who's the best player in the series? We said Luca, and I still think that.
that's true.
Like, you know what I mean?
As much as
Um,
I probably should have ripped into Luca more for the complaining though. God, it was getting aggravating.
I, 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 even though, yes, it's getting aggravating, and he's young, and he needs to learn that that's not okay. But I think it's a good thing that they lost, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So now he's gonna learn his fucking lesson. You know what I mean?
I
Like
got I
what?
gotta add the
What's
explicit tag to this.
Yeah? What is the best way for you to learn your lesson about what not to do? To literally go onto the biggest stage in the world and lose.
Yeah.
Every great player has been through that. Even the Celtics went through that. They went through that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the finals.
Whatever. LeBron's been in the finals and lost on the biggest stage. Even before he won one, I
Yeah,
think.
like 6 times. He's
Yeah,
lost a lot
and
in the
then
finals.
yeah, and then Kobe. It's just like even though he won, he also lost. Like there's that I hope will like deflate the ego a bit
I
and
will say in
focus
games
on the
four and
game.
five, he really didn't complain a lot.
Yeah, and
Which was nice to see. But
a little too late,
yeah,
but hopefully, next season
it does hurt
you
for games 2 and 3 being so close and losing both of those down the stretch. Could have been a different
absolutely.
series.
This so many of these like going I mean talking about the Celtics too is like good on them because there were a lot of times in the Pacers series in this
Mhm.
series where it looked like they were going to lose.
And during the
And
regular season, those are games that they lost, like the D
yeah.
Wade comeback game. Like that was the game that they
Oh
lost because they
yeah.
had a big lead and they blew it. The Pacers almost came back, they held on. The Mavericks almost came back in game 3. They were they
Yes.
they were
Yeah.
down like 18 in the fourth, and they almost came back and won. So, good to collapse and then not lose though.
Yes, absolutely. Like, so they learned, and that's sort of the reason why, like, I'm not mad. Like, it was not a walk in the park every game. They showed some resilience. But if we're talking about like past teams that have won the championship, I mean, I would probably take a lot of them over
Let's
this team.
let's do it real quick.
Okay, sure.
2023 Denver Nuggets, better team than this team?
Yeah,
I don't think
I,
so. I think the Celtics is probably better. Um,
I just think Jokic.
but Jokic is the best player for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think that. Okay, let's go
Celtics
back.
Nuggets would have been the cool finals.
That
Too
would have
bad
been
they
a really
lost to
good
the
one.
Timberwolves
Well, it would have been, but it would have been better last year because they
last
had,
year
yeah,
with
with Bruce
Bruce
Brown.
Brown. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
2022 Warriors. I think the Celtics
I
team's
mean,
better.
I think the Celtics team's better, although the Celtics did beat them. But I mean, it's a different team now. But I think the
The
Celtics team is
Warriors
better.
beat that Celtics team, but yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
23-year-old Tatum and 24-year-old Brown.
Yeah,
No Porzingis,
yeah.
no
Then we
Drew
got
Holiday, etc.
yeah. We got
2021
Milwaukee.
Bucks.
Drew Holiday versus Drew Holiday.
I
Um,
really like that Bucks team. I don't know. That Bucks team was good.
I think the Bucks team. They showed a lot of resilience when they were down 2-0 and came
Yeah.
back and Cash Money and Giannis. I mean,
I want to talk about that series in our next question too.
Okay.
2020 Lakers, the Celtics seems better.
No,
The
absolutely
Celtics team
not.
is
Wait,
better.
one question. Which team was Dion Waiters on?
Uh,
There you go.
okay.
There you go. I gotcha.
I
I
think I
gotcha.
think right now Dion Waiters on the Shanghai Sharks. I'm not, I'm not
Oh
sure.
my God. I
2019 Raptors.
I
The
actually
Celtics
don't know
seems
this. Again,
Celtics seems better.
I don't know the 2019 Raptors,
You don't
if I'm
know the
being honest.
2019 Raptors? Kawhi, Pascal, Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Norman Powell, Danny Green,
Marcus Gasol?
Marcus Gasol, yeah,
Okay.
Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, I'd probably say the Celtics then.
Yeah. And then and
That's
then and then you get 2 years of the Kevin Durant Warriors, which is like the best team I've ever seen. So
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think they're gonna win. Um, yeah, we can stop there. 2016 Cavs probably better.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but thanks for asking that. That's kind of fun rhetorical. But yeah, what about you? What any thing you
Uh,
want to say about the Celtics, their path, um
you know what I do want to say? Shout out Marcus Smart on
who
the
knew that he
terrible
was
Memphis Grizzlies
who
this year.
knew he was the guy holding them back this whole time?
On the Celtics his whole career.
Leaves one season, they win. I mean, imagine he's on his couch. He's like, yeah, could have been there this season. Well, he's injured too, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, so obviously you think highly of the Celtics team. Um,
Shout out Kemba Walker.
Shout out, man.
Terry Rozier. I'm trying to think of Kelly Olynyk, Jay
Kyrie
Crowder,
Irving.
past Celtics. Well, he was on the
uh,
other team, so
Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. I'm kidding.
well, those guys
Uh,
actually won a championship.
I
So
know, I know. Okay, well, so let's go now next
I
year. What
do
do you,
think.
or
Well,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think the Celtics. I think a lot of the reason they don't get a lot of credit is because they played the Heat without Jimmy Butler, who beat them last year. They played who did they play in the second round? The Cavs
Uh,
without Jared Allen and
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell for part of
Donovan
it.
Mitchell, yeah.
The Pacers without Tyrese were part of it, who were also a 6 seed, and the Mavs were a 5 seed. Luka was banged up all playoffs.
Dude, yeah, he just didn't look, I
Um,
mean,
so
yeah.
it's like I think people take credit, but it's like they can't control that. They just have to play who's in front of them. That's
Also,
that's
yes,
how it works. Like,
100%, 100% agree with you. And that's just the game. There's every year there are
you
injuries, and every year there's going to be a team that's like, oh, like they shouldn't have made it this far. Guess what? That's just the game.
that's every
Where are you gonna
sports league.
literally,
That's
where are you gonna like stop for 4 or 6 weeks until
I
like
uh
they're healed, and then
I was
whatever.
looking at a post that Kenny made KT4Q on Twitter, and it was going back to like the last 15 championships and like an asterisk you could put next to all of them basically.
Yeah,
So yeah, it always happens. And
yeah. They always want to discredit.
yeah, you can't discredit the Celtics. They did what they needed to do. They played great all playoffs. They wiped the floor with the teams they were supposed to, aside from a couple crazy games couple crazy game twos that they lost in the first couple rounds. Um, and yeah, I mean they were without Porzingis from you know part of round one all the way to the finals. So it's not
Yeah,
like they were fully healthy. But their top seven or whatever was good enough to kind of just fly through those teams.
yeah.
I do think there's an argument to be made. And I know you won't like this because we've talked about this privately. Um, but this kind of path that they just had to the finals could be an argument for seeding the playoffs 1 to 16 instead of 8 East to West. I know you hate that thought, but I think it brings like it's it helps that argument. I think it's like yeah, then they could have played the Timberwolves or someone in like the second round or the third round instead of whatever weak Eastern Conference team they end up playing. But yeah, that's how it goes.
Hey, okay, that's your opinion, man. That's cool. That's cool.
It could be
I
interesting.
I I understand the merits of it, of course. I just hate that there's already been like 80 years of the opposite.
Right.
That's the tough thing.
I feel like
But
a lot of people will argue like rivalries, but I feel like rivalries just with the how much players move stuff, like it doesn't even like matter anymore.
I again like it doesn't. And if I think to my rivalries or biases, right? Like the only one I really I guess I care about is the Celtics one, but even that I don't care because I like the team. I like the players. I like the
Yeah.
team. I just don't like the fans as much. But I mean,
But
there's
with a Celtics Lakers rivalry, if you have 1-16, you could get that matchup actually in the playoffs instead of hoping both teams make it to the finals every year.
no, no. I think that's not a good argument about the rivalry thing. Because then you would, yeah, exactly. Like, there's just a better chance period of you seeing them anytime, and also like a chance for new rivalries to brew.
Right,
Like those are
right.
more. I think those like more recent ones are more interesting.
Like the Pacers Bucks this year. That was kind of like
Yeah,
the
that was
global name
fun. I mean,
rivalry.
I also like in recent history, like Grizzlies Warriors was
Oh
also
yeah,
pretty like
yeah.
chippy and kind of fun to watch. Very emotional. Um, yeah. Um, we'll see, but I don't know if it'll happen.
Let me know. It won't happen. I don't even think
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
a thing that's in the works, but
yeah.
that would prevent something like this, I guess, if
I
people
get. You're
want to
right.
complain about their run.
Yeah, you're right.
But
You're right. I totally get it.
But that's
But
just people discrediting. Like I mentioned earlier, Celtics, I think Sam Hauser's only free agent. I think Jason Tatum will be eligible for the Supermax extension since he made All NBA first team. So that will definitely happen.
yeah,
He will be there. Jaylen Brown, I think last year got the Supermax extension.
he
So
got the biggest contract in NBA
uh,
history for like a week, and
a
then
week, yeah.
someone else. Yeah, yeah,
And that's how it goes. The CBA will be going up, so that'll just keep happening. But I think their core pieces will be in place. I know at some point in the next 2 years they're gonna have to pay like Derek White and Drew Holiday. I don't think they can do both with the
yeah.
amount of money they're gonna be paying to their other guys, so they'll have to make a choice there. But at least for next season, they're locked, loaded, and ready to come back. And I don't know, maybe it's a 76ers with a Paul George, or it's a healthier Bucks, or the Knicks are healthier. They were pretty good without a lot of their guys. I feel like those are the only three teams who even have a shot at taking them down in the East at least. But unless something dramatic happens, I don't see them, not winding up right here again next year.
That's everyone says that every year, and
I
I
mean, these guys
I
have made 6 of the last 8 conference finals, and
yes,
this is the best version of their team.
it is the best version of their team, but it's not going to be the same next year.
Yeah,
And I just if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. They're not going to win next year. I'm just gonna
yeah.
say it right now.
I
The
mean,
Boston
I don't
Celtics
want
aren't
that
going
to
to win
happen.
next year. Well,
I
and let's quote me on that if I'm wrong. Well, remember this episode
will
42, the
will
Maxi Kleba episode.
will one a team or one of the other 29 teams win? I guess we'll see.
I'm gonna put my money on this one. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. So what do you? I mean, is there anything next for the Celtics, or do you think just run it back and try to re-sign Sam Hauser? I'm sure he'd probably want to stay. I mean, unless
Winning
he's
a
trying to get,
championship, yeah, it's pretty good. Um,
unless someone's gonna give him like a bag.
I guess like aside from the Sam Hauser thing, Al Horford's 100 years old and Porzingis is always injured, so maybe try to get another big. Like Xavier Tillman worked in spot minutes,
Yeah,
but
he's a good backup.
yeah, maybe try to get another big that can still space like they want to. Um,
Absolutely.
and yeah, I feel like that's maybe the only area that they really need to address with maybe I don't know. I don't love Peyton Pritchard. I don't love when he checks out of the game. And I'm like, oh, look, there's like a 6'1" point guard that other teams can pick on defense and stuff. Whereas I feel like you can't really do that with the Drew Holiday and Derek White. So
Oh,
maybe
for sure.
a backup defensive oriented guard to kind of fit into that system too. But really, that's it. I mean, it's hard to find holes on this lineup. So
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. But then again, just to kind of like, I want to do some final thoughts on the 2024 finals in general.
yeah,
But before we do that, I just want to say, first and foremost, congratulations to the Boston Celtics for winning the championship. Just want to say that.
could have made your light
Thoughts,
green.
I thought about that. I would never in a million years. Thoughts on the 2024 NBA Finals. Do you have any? Because I have some things I brought up some things earlier,
Yeah,
but what is there anything
yeah. I have
you
a
what do
couple
you think about
thoughts.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Tell me your thoughts.
Here's a thought. Why is the final trophy no longer integrated in the logo in the middle of the court?
It needs to be.
It needs to be. It's so iconic. It's like
It's
from
so
my
iconic.
childhood thinking about it,
Yeah,
like it was so good. Now it's just like the little ones on the side or whatever. It's like, nah,
yeah.
it's not nearly as
Also,
cool.
yeah. Also, I mean, in the same vein, like they need to do that, and I mean, they already have done it, but it's cool that they add the final thing on the jersey. I'm just saying, like,
It's on the back now though. It used to be on the front, but now it's like
I
brands and stuff.
yeah, I do think it should be on the front. but
Make sure the names are over the number.
dude, we're not talking about that yet.
Uh,
We're not. We're gonna get into that in the off season.
the
Okay,
the
we're gonna get in the
jerseys,
off
we
season.
got to talk about the jerseys always being wrong every single game. Like one game, the
Um,
Celtics are wearing black out of nowhere. I was like, what is happening? I don't
dude,
understand.
I hate that so
The
much,
jersey color
man.
thing. We got to be
The
consistent with the
the
jersey
only
colors.
absolute thank you for saying that. The only time it was correct was game one when the Mavericks wore black, their city jersey. Huh?
Yeah, random.
Should have worn the navy blue Mavericks jersey that they had,
Right.
and then the Celtics wore white. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then the game they won, Mavericks were wearing white and they were wearing green. I'm like, at least it wasn't as bad as the Pacers wearing yellow every game. Oh
Every
my
game, the whole
God.
postseason is crazy.
That was bananas. But yeah, I am such a hater when it comes to the jersey thing. I just am. Like if you're home, just wear white. God, it's not that hard. Just wear white. Doesn't matter. Like I remember earlier this year the argument was that like the fans will get to see other jerseys. That's cool. Um no, who cares? It's just like they'll watch the away games and they'll wear different jerseys. I don't if I go to a game and
Yeah.
the Lakers when they play at home they wear yellow, or and if on a Sunday they'll wear white. I'm like, that's their home. That's fine. They wear purple, I'm pissed. I'm like, why? I like the purple jerseys, but I'm like, oh, we're home. Anyways, sorry. Continue. Any more thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So basically, well, the things I'm alluding to here, the jerseys, the court. Um, I can always complain about officiating, I'm sure. Uh,
I mean, I was complaining during game five to you because there were so many missed calls, man. It
it
was
it maybe hopefully you agree with me. It didn't feel like the finals. Like I feel like the importance of what was happening wasn't hitting for me as much as it has in years past. And I can't quite place what it is. Maybe it's because the Celtics kind of steamrolled their way through the playoffs and we're also doing that and the series wasn't as competitive. Although, games 2 and 3 were close, but the Celtics were up most of those games and like the Mavericks kind of made it close to the end. Celtics blew them out in game one. They blew them out in game five. The Mavericks blew them out in game four. So like there wasn't a ton of close competitive kind of clutch basketball. Maybe that's a part of it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just felt like a little bland to me, I guess.
I agree with you. This year did feel very strange. And I mean, it's so because like obviously so this year feels weird. So thing I want to do is compare it to previous years, right? So like last year, Denver Nuggets, small market, Miami Heat, like medium market. I don't think like a large market. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
technically they are, but like I don't know any Heat. I know one Heat fan. You know what I mean? I know
yeah,
one Nuggets fan. Um, but like just it was a more interesting because Denver Nuggets first time ever in the finals.
yeah,
Miami Heat 8 seed starting the play-in, making their way. Like the narratives around that were so interesting, even though it was a 5 game series.
yeah.
Like it still felt like the finals.
There's a
Like I
little
get
hype
that
getting
there was
into the
buzz,
finals.
there was
Yeah,
buzz. Like people,
for sure.
people not watching basketball were talking about it. This series, I mean, so when I would go out and there was a game on last year, I remember people would ask me about it. Like, oh, I think isn't there like NBA finals right now? This
Mhm.
year, I'd go out, no one talked about it at all. I wonder if it's because it was obvious, like Boston Celtics, whatever, Dallas Mavericks, they're good. I mean, if people haven't watched basketball in a while, they're like, oh, I guess they're good, probably.
Mhm.
Even though they're like a smaller market, medium market. I just think it just wasn't there. Like no one that didn't watch basketball wasn't talking about it. I agree with you. It was just weird, and it's hard to pinpoint why. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, let's do, if you don't mind, let's do the same thing we did with whatever we did. What did we do earlier when we went back to other finals? I like don't even remember. But
Well,
we'll
we
go.
we mentioned teams. Oh, who if they would win, the Boston Celtics would
Oh
win.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's
or
go
like
back and
better
talk
team.
about final. So, we love doing tiers. We're not gonna bust out a tier list right now.
Yeah,
Um, well, I would say this is maybe a D C tier finals, like pretty
D
average, below average maybe.
below
Um,
average. Yeah.
you said last year, Nuggets Heat was better.
Yeah, not
I
not
agree.
that not that I was invested, but just generally
Well, I
what
think,
people
Jokic
talk.
after winning back-to-back MVPs, Nuggets you mentioned in the finals first time, Miami had the crazy 8 seed run.
Yeah.
There was definitely more hype going into the series, I think, for sure.
Yeah, watching it, I'd probably give it like a
I see.
C.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, but
probably about
like
there.
this was definitely like a D. Like I
Yeah.
was just not like I watched the games and I enjoyed watching the games, but it's not I was like it didn't feel like the finals. Like it really didn't, you know?
Yeah. What about Warriors Celtics 2022?
So the reason so I in this one I don't really like either team, you know?
I
Um
hate both teams.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I didn't
Yeah, I
hate
was
the young
gonna say
Celtics, but I hate the Warriors. I
yeah.
have
So,
disliked them for
you
a lot of
know,
my basketball liking.
and but I remember that series of 6 games. And I remember people talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's probably just because two big market teams, and like that was I'd probably say that was probably like a B tier
Yeah, I was going to say
series.
B. I think the Celtics were up 2-1, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
they're
before
two
the
zero,
Warriors.
2-0.
Maybe 2-0. Okay.
Wait, I
Um,
think so. I think so.
Warriors came back and win. Steph Curry gets his Finals MVP. That was a big storyline after having never gotten it in his other 3 championships. Wiggins was playing out of his mind. That was great for his career and for his legacy.
Jordan
Celtics,
Poole.
Tatum and Brown were very young,
Yeah,
but they had finally kind of gotten there after. I mean, they've both been very successful throughout the duration of their career. So yeah, I do think that was a more interesting series.
and I want to go back to the point I was making. So Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown made it to the finals and they lose.
Mhm.
The greatest teacher is failure, and even to a greater extent humiliation. And guess what? They finally did it. So just another note about
They're
that.
still 25, 26, by the way.
Yeah,
Still
super
nice
young.
and young. So
Still got a
yeah,
lot to yeah. I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, these are players I like for sure.
yeah. Um, Tatum was doing. I did want to mention this. The reason I didn't personally shout out Tatum earlier, is because he was doing this thing where they were up by 18 and he would like make an and one layup and start screaming at the crowd, and I was like, okay, like
Dude,
it's already over. Like, what are we doing here?
I didn't like that. Also, I mean, let's talk about Jason Tatum a little bit
Let's talk
because
about Tatum a little bit.
I see there's a lot of people making fun of him.
Are there really?
Yeah, because I don't know if you watched the post
I didn't.
game.
I didn't care enough.
So I didn't, but I'm seeing some clips here and there,
Yeah.
and he is just like trying to like bait so hard an NBA Finals moment or a quote,
Uh,
like he's
he's a little
so
cheesy.
yeah he was just leaning so hard into that,
He had
like
the he had the text and Kobe thing. Do you remember that?
the what?
He had like texted Kobe after Kobe had passed. I think this was during the 2022 finals. He like texted him. It's like
Oh
thinking of you today and like
oh,
posted a screenshot of that on Instagram or something. Yeah,
it's so
He
cringy.
does some cheesy
Um,
things.
yeah, and then like you could just tell like after like they were talking to him, like he's like, oh my God, we did it. We finally did it. And you almost or like you could almost hear him want to say like anything's possible or like is like this is for you, boss. Like
Uh,
he's just like on the verge of like trying to think of something to say. And then what he ended up saying was like what are they gonna say now? They said we couldn't do it. What are they gonna say now? I was like, they're gonna say you can't do it again. Like I was like, what do you want me to say? It was so I didn't like
he's so
that.
lucky his child is so cute.
Yeah.
Deuce
I
Tatum,
mean,
horrible
there's
name.
also yeah, there's also such a bad name. And there's like a picture I saw of like him picking up Deuce and I was like, gee, like, fucking like Lion King. It's just like it's just so like baity. I didn't love that, but
Yeah,
also
I
like
don't
I'm
like
happy for him, but I'm just like as a viewer, I'm like it's just kind of
his attitude's a little weird at game. I don't know. I
a
don't
little
like that.
cringy.
But he
Yeah,
does he does like do funny things like the tie shoe video. That was like
yeah,
an
man.
iconic video.
He seems humble enough, like in that respect. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
It's just yeah, it was weird the on the court celebration while blowing them out and you're about to win. That was a little weird to me.
Yeah, no, it was I agree. I was watching that. It just does it's
And I
not
probably praised somebody for doing the same thing before. But maybe in like a close game, like an Anthony Edwards dunk in like a 2 point game is a little different than like we're up
so
by
different.
18 and we're about to win the championship.
Also, you're not like the favorite. Like they weren't the favorite in either
Yeah.
of cases. You know what I mean? Like they doubted them everywhere. So I'm like, okay, he's like they're it seemed very genuine. And this is like we're up 3-1 and we're blowing them out by 20 points. Yes, we did it. Like, oh my
Yeah.
dude. Like, dude, chill out.
Jalen
Anyways,
Brown shouted him out during his Finals MVP speech. That was nice of him.
Very nice of him.
Because
Yeah.
Tatum was probably pissed by that, but whatever. Um,
Yeah.
20,
Anyway, okay. Yeah.
2021 Bucks Suns.
That one was fun.
I'm going A tier.
Yeah, A tier
Good
for sure.
series.
Good series. That was a
They were
really
down
fun one.
2-0, like you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. Giannis with
Hmm.
the 50-point closeout game, hitting 17 of 18 from the line
Dude,
after
that
being like made
was
fun of for his free throws all playoffs.
also, I think this was also that playoffs is probably one of the better ones.
Playoffs,
Like
yeah,
that
it
I've ever
was
because I think that was also the Brooklyn Nets Bucks, right? With the shoe.
the shoe on the line. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
dude,
was
I remember I
the
did
the 0.2 second Aiton lob to win over the Clippers in game 2 or whatever.
dude, I
That
remember
was
so many of
huge.
those moments I remember where I was. I was in a casino in Lake Charles watching that Nets
Mm.
Bucks game and I saw his line and I was screaming, his foot was on the line, his foot was and they went back and reviewed. I was like, so like that had so many moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what moments from this finals? Anyways, keep going.
Um, yeah. What
Oh,
do you
oh
mean? The
yeah, there
Peyton
was
Pritchard half court shots. That's the moments from this
to
finals.
go up by 21. Cool.
How about the Drew
Bubble?
Holiday to Giannis lob in the finals when they were like up and like it was a super risky play?
Yes. Oh my God. I
What
forgot.
a
That
iconic
was
play.
crazy. And it was, yeah, it was like a minute 12 left. Oh my God. Um,
Great finals.
that was a really good finals. A tier for sure.
Uh,
Um,
Bubble, Lakers Heat.
Bubble S tier. I mean, honestly, it was a
I'm gonna
good
go.
one.
I'm gonna go B tier.
You go B. I'd probably say A just because like it was interesting.
Jimmy
Uh,
Butler was playing his out of his mind in that
that
series.
game 5 when they came back and won, like I remember like I almost cried. I was so dumb. It was 2020. There was a lot of
No
emotions
fans, a little
happening.
weird, you know.
Yeah, it was so yeah,
The
probably because
bubble.
of that. Okay, because of that, I put B tier. But I think the finals itself was like it was two very good teams. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
think it was pretty evenly matched
I
and
was glad
it
that
was fun to
basketball
watch.
was occurring after the hiatus.
Literally. And I just without the crowd there, it really does like take away from it. So it can't be A, you're right. It just can't. And then I haven't watched any finals. That was the first finals I
That's not
watched. And
true. That's can't be true.
I didn't watch the Raptors finals
You
at
didn't watch
all.
that finals? That was an A tier finals. Great finals.
I didn't watch it at all, brother.
All except for Kevin Durant tearing his Achilles and Clay Thompson.
Yeah.
No,
I
Clay
mean,
Thompson tore his Achilles. Kevin Durant tore his ACL. Something like that.
yeah. Well,
Correct
I
that
know. I
records.
know that. I mean, the to me the biggest moment is the Raptors Sixers. Obviously, the Kawhi
The
shot.
Kawhi shot. What a nutty shot. That was a crazy shot. It was in the
That so the
finals though.
literally the only thing I remember I didn't watch basketball that year. I remember hearing about that shot and I looked it up and I was like, who are these players on these teams? I was like, who's on the Raptors? Who's on the 76ers
That's
now?
over yeah, you know who you probably don't know is on that Sixers team? I don't know if you remember.
JJ Redick.
Give me the starting five of that Sixers team.
Okay, okay, let me try.
Yeah,
Joel Embiid,
sure.
Jimmy Butler,
Oh,
Ben
that's what I thought you
Simmons.
wouldn't remember. I thought you
No,
wouldn't remember that Jimmy Butler was a 76er
I
because it
remember
barely happened.
because it barely happened. That's I only remember because I've seen that clip of the shot a million times. So I can probably name everyone on the court at that time.
That's fair.
That's literally the only reason. But besides that, I mean, when I remember when I saw the clip, I was like, Jimmy Butler sounds like a familiar, but I don't remember him on the 76ers. And I was like, who is Ben Simmons? I was like, literally like, who are these players? Because I was just out of it that long,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think now, obviously. But that's just what
2018
it
and
was.
17 are both like C D tier because it's just the Super Team Warriors.
Yeah,
But
it's boring.
2016, that's an S tier
Dude,
finals.
S tier finals for
That's
sure.
an S tier final. That's the best
That
finals ever.
yeah, the narratives, everything about that year was like I remember there's a lot of videos about that year. Like it was the first unanimous MVP,
Yeah.
Cavaliers winning, um, yeah, coming back 3-1. Oh, there's other like a lot of iconic moments. Oh, it was Kobe's last year, I think. So he had
That
his
was
last
Kobe's
game.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so just a lot of things happened that year
Dropped 60 on the Utes.
on the Utes. Yeah.
22 of
Anywho,
50 from the field.
yeah. So I'm glad we talked about that. I'm glad we're on the same page about this finals because it felt strange. Um, Definitely not the best series,
Yeah.
by any means. And we barely talked about them, but I want to give a shout out to the Dallas Mavericks because they did make it to the finals. I'm glad Luka got a taste. I'm I I hope they see what's working. They figure it out. They
Yep.
get a higher seed next year. They get home court advantage, maybe.
The West is going to be a
And
bloodbath next year.
the West is going to be absolutely crazy. And I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait to watch that.
Who makes the
So,
finals out of the West? Who makes the finals? Yeah. Who gets to the finals out of the West next year?
dude, the Lakers. What are you kidding? Come on,
Okay.
dude.
Fair.
If I'm picking a dark horse, um,
I have a dark horse pick in mind myself. I thought of immediately a dark horse. I didn't think of like an obvious team.
okay. I mean, I'd probably want to say Timberwolves.
Okay. My
Yeah.
dark horse I thought of was the Grizzlies, which is like our super dark
I
horse.
thought you were gonna say Trailblazers or Jazz. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Those teams are not
Uh,
making the playoffs.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, random team. I'm gonna say next year in the finals is Timberwolves and Knicks. Random.
That'd be interesting.
We'll come back and we'll see if that
We won't.
happens.
We'll forget
Yeah, we'll
that you
forget.
ever
But
said
but
that.
some but, hey, but someone who's listening, come back and listen to it.
Clip it.
Clip it. Anyways,
And,
so I'm glad
and I'll give you the login of our social media. You can post it on, or you can make some shorts out of it or something. I'm not doing it, so
you
somebody else
do
could do
it. I got too much to do. I got a
it.
band to run, man.
I got, I don't know,
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm kidding. Anyways, well,
man.
I'm sad the NBA season's over, but it was really fun to watch, and I can't. Honestly, having this podcast made it 1,000 times more enjoyable because I
Yeah,
was so many times I was like, dude, I can't wait to talk about this on the podcast.
for
But
sure.
yeah, you know what I
And this
mean?
podcast isn't going anywhere. We're going to be here for the off season. We're going to
Well, no, I'm
be
kidding. Yeah, you're right.
talking about free
What's the?
agency, draft, Olympics,
Oh, I
random
remember.
ideas, the
I was
role
gonna say
player thing.
no role player thing, but also the favorite moments from the NBA Finals
Oh
this
yeah,
year,
favorite.
or
Yeah,
not NBA
the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah, for sure. Top 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Top
Ooh,
10
that'll be
for
fun.
each, or do we?
I want to start right now. That'd be so fun.
This podcast is actually going to be 4 hours long, so we're going right into our.
Oh, we're gonna do it right now.
um,
No, we can't. But
definitely not.
I just want to say thank you everybody for listening, and it means a lot to us that you've been with us for the season. I'm excited to see what we do next year. Damon has to take a shot real quick, so we're gonna take the shot. And I mean, then hit the roof this time,
Yeah,
so it was a good
I was
start.
trying to
The
adjust
ceiling,
the
yeah,
angle to not hit the roof, and I was successful in that matter. But
yeah, good job on that on that matter. Good job. But yeah, just thanks again. If you just another off-season thing, if you want us to explain, if we talked about things that you didn't really understand, let us know and
yeah,
we could dive into them more because I love
off season's going to
learning
be
and I
fun.
love yeah, and if there's anything you want us to dissect, like let us know.
It's going to be more loosey goosey, like some
Yeah,
our last episodes were.
yeah, I'll make sure to get a bottle of wine and
I'll
we'll
make sure to get a
a pint.
chocolate crunch Spurs ice cream.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, thanks again for everybody listening, liking and subscribing, and you can't subscribe. I guess you're follow us and comment and look forward to keep on doing this. And
If you
yeah,
don't, I'm not your friend. So
any last words you want to say? Last part of the season?
last part of the season, except when I mean, we're going to release another episode in like 8 days or something
Yeah, I know,
like
but I'm saying
that.
this is
So
like the season, but
the
just
season's over. 2024 is gone. 2025 is here. Um, go Rockets.
cool. I'm cool with that. Go Hornets, apparently, because I'm wearing the shirt. But once again, this has been Two Man Game with Damon and Dom.
Banner 18.